For most of human history, there were no kings, no presidents, no police, no taxes, no crowns, no palaces, no throne rooms. And yet, groups of humans still crossed frozen landscapes, hunted animals bigger than trucks, raised children, buried their dead, shared food, made tools, told stories, and survived for thousands of generations. So someone must have been in charge, right? That is the strange part. The first human leaders may not have been the strongest people in the group. They may not have been the richest. They may not have been the loudest. In fact, if one person tried too hard to control everyone else, the group may have done something very simple. They left him. They laughed at him. They ignored him. And if he became dangerous enough, they may have killed him. Because before humans built kingdoms, before anyone wore a crown, leadership was not something you owned. It was something the group allowed you to borrow, and only for as long as you were useful. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans lived in small bands, not cities, not countries, not villages in the way we think of them now. Small groups of maybe a few dozen people moving through forests, grasslands, coastlines, mountains, and deserts. Their world was dangerous but simple. Food had to be found, water had to be remembered, children had to be protected, fire had to be kept alive, predators had to be avoided. In that kind of world, one bad decision could kill everyone, so ancient humans could not afford leadership based only on ego. They needed competence. If the group was tracking an animal, the best tracker mattered. If they were moving through unknown land, the person who knew the terrain mattered. If a child was sick, the person who understood plants, wounds, and fever mattered. If two families were fighting, the calm elder who knew everyone's history mattered. Leadership existed, but it moved. It shifted from person to person depending on the problem. The best hunter might lead the hunt, but that did not mean he controlled who married who. The best storyteller might hold everyone's attention by the fire, but that did not mean she owned the food. The oldest person might be respected for memory, but that did not mean every order had to be obeyed. Ancient human leadership was probably not a pyramid. It was more like a circle that changed shape. And that may be one of the most important things humans ever learned. Because humans are not the strongest animals. We do not have claws. We do not run especially fast. We are not covered in armor. A single human alone is fragile, but a group of humans can become terrifyingly powerful. The problem is that group power creates a danger. Someone always tries to take more of it. In many animal groups, dominance is physical. The biggest male pushes others aside. He gets the best food. He gets mating access. He gets space. If another male wants power, they fight. But humans had a problem those animals did not have. Humans could talk. Humans could remember. Humans could plan. And most dangerously, humans could form coalitions. One bully could dominate one person, but 5 people whispering at night could stop him. This may have changed everything. In ancient human groups, the strongest person was never stronger than everyone together. A violent man could scare people during the day, but at night, the group could decide he was too dangerous to keep. This created a strange kind of equality, not because everyone was gentle, not because everyone was noble, but because nobody could safely become too powerful. Power had to be tolerated by the group, and if it stopped helping the group, it became a threat. This is why ancient leadership may have looked very different from modern leadership. Today, a leader can sit far away from the people they affect. A ruler can command strangers. A boss can fire someone they barely know. A government can make decisions for millions of people who will never meet the people making the decisions. But in a small, ancient band, leadership had no distance. If you made a bad decision, you saw the consequences immediately. If you acted selfishly, the hungry person was sitting beside you. If you lied, someone remembered. If you took too much food, everyone saw your hands. There was nowhere to hide inside a group small enough to know your face. That made leadership personal. And personal leadership is dangerous in a different way. You could not just appear powerful, you had to be useful. This may be why ancient leaders were often not rulers in the modern sense. They were problem solvers. A person followed because they helped the group survive, not because they had a title, not because their father had a title, not because a symbol said they were special. Their authority came from trust, and trust is much harder to fake when everyone has known you since childhood. But then, something changed. At first, it looked like progress. Humans learned to store food. They settled in one place for longer periods. Some groups began farming. Animals were domesticated. Grain could be collected. Land could be claimed. Houses became permanent. And for the first time, wealth could sit still. This may have been the moment leadership began to harden, because a wandering hunter-gatherer group cannot easily build a palace. They cannot carry huge piles of stored grain forever. They cannot lock up a river. They cannot pass a throne to a son if the group can simply walk away. But once humans settled, walking away became harder. The food was in the storage pit. The animals were in the pen. The dead were buried nearby. The land had memory. The group was no longer just people. It was people plus property. And property needed protection. Protection created guards. Guards created force. Force created hierarchy. And hierarchy created a new kind of leader. Not the person you followed because they knew where the deer went. The person you obeyed because they controlled the grain. This is where leadership starts to become something more familiar. Chiefs, priests, war leaders, kings, families with inherited power. People who didn't just solve problems but claimed the right to command. And once leadership attached to land, food, gods, armies, and inheritance, it became much harder to remove. The old human rule began to weaken. If a leader became selfish in a small band, people could mock him, avoid him, or leave. If a king became selfish in a kingdom, where would you go? The strange thing is that humans may have spent most of our existence resisting permanent domination. Then, in a tiny slice of our history, we built systems where domination could survive longer than the person being dominated. A crown is not just a decoration, it's a technology. It turns one person's temporary influence into something that looks permanent. It tells everyone, this person is above you, even when they're wrong. But ancient humans may not have thought that way. To them, leadership was not magic. It was not sacred by default. It was practical. Can you find food? Can you calm conflict? Can you protect children? Can you remember the dangerous path? Can you speak when everyone is afraid? Can you give without taking too much? If yes, people listen. If no, they stop. That may be the forgotten difference. Ancient humans did have leaders, but many of those leaders were probably trapped inside the judgment of the group. They were watched, tested, mocked, corrected, abandoned, and sometimes replaced without ceremony. A leader who forgot the group was not a leader anymore. He was a problem. But this does not mean ancient humans lived in perfect equality. That would be too simple. There were likely jealousies, fights, revenge, manipulation, stronger personalities, better hunters, more respected elders, people with influence, people with fear, people who wanted more than others. Ancient life was not a paradise, It was human, and humans have always carried the same dangerous material inside them: ambition, fear, pride, desire, status. The difference was the container. For most of our existence, the container was small enough that power had limits. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone needed everyone. The leader needed the group as much as the group needed the leader. Then, civilization made the container bigger. Villages became towns. Towns became cities. Cities became states. And suddenly, leadership could float above ordinary life. The person making the decision no longer had to sit beside the person paying the cost. That distance changed power. It made leadership more efficient, but also more dangerous. Because the further a leader gets from the people, the easier it becomes to mistake control for wisdom. This is why the question is not only, did ancient humans have leaders? The better question is, what kind of leadership did the human brain evolve to trust? Maybe not distant power. Maybe not permanent titles. Maybe not people hidden behind walls, offices, screens, uniforms, or symbols. Maybe we evolved to trust the person whose value we could see, the one who walked with us, the one who took risks with us, the one who ate after the children were fed, the one who could lead today and be ordinary again tomorrow. That kind of leader is very different from a king. And maybe that is why we still feel something strange around power. We admire leaders, but we distrust them. We want someone to guide the group, but we fear someone controlling it. We look for confidence, then punish arrogance. We want order, but hate being dominated. This contradiction is not modern, it is ancient. It may be one of the oldest human instincts we still carry: the need for leadership and the fear of what leadership becomes when nobody can say no. So yes, ancient humans had leaders, but the first leaders were probably not rulers. They were temporary answers to urgent problems. A good hunter when food was missing. A calm voice when anger rose. An elder memory when the path disappeared. A brave person when fear spread through the group. They led because for that moment, the group needed them. And when the moment passed, the power was supposed to pass with it. That may be the part we forgot. Leadership was not always a ladder. It was once a responsibility held in the open, watched by everyone, and taken back when it became dangerous. Before crowns, humans followed people. Before kingdoms, leadership had to earn its place around the fire. And maybe the first real leader was not the person who stood above the group. Maybe it was the person the group trusted enough to follow into the dark.